You are standing in the courtyard of an exclusive dealership, or maybe the warehouse of a private collector. The day is clear. The sun hits from the side, reflecting off the deep black paint of the machine in front of you. The air is thick with that characteristic smell of new tires, high-quality leather, and a slight hint of high-octane fuel. Around you, the world seems to keep spinning at its normal pace, but your eyes are fixed on a single point. The stylized Demon badge on the side of the fender, a Dodge Challenger SRT Demon. Until yesterday, this car was just a poster on your bedroom wall, a background on your phone, or a monster you watched tear up the asphalt in drag racing videos on YouTube. But today, the proximity key, the red one, which unleashes all 852 horsepower, is in the palm of your hand. It feels heavier than it should. The salesman, or the previous owner, takes a step back, crosses his arms and says with a smirk, "She's all yours, go ahead and start it." You open the door. Its weight is substantial. As you sit in the Alcantara seat, you are hugged by the cockpit. The smell of a race car mixed with American luxury floods your lungs. Your right hand goes straight to the start button on the dashboard. Your heart begins to show the first signs of rushing. You step on the brake, take a deep breath, and press the button. The world explodes. It is not just the sound of an engine starting, it is a punch to the chest. The 6.2-litre supercharged HEMI V8 engine awakens with a guttural roar that makes the windows of the place vibrate and the ground beneath your feet shake. The exhaust lets out that sharp, metallic pop, followed by a deep, rhythmic rumble, like the growl of a predator waiting for the cage to open. Right after, overriding the exhaust sound, comes the sharp and hypnotic whine of the mechanical supercharger. It is a sound that sends shivers right up the back of your neck. You engage first gear in the automatic transmission, slowly release the brake, and the car begins to roll. The first sensation is strangeness. The Demon is massive. The hood looks like a runway in front of you, with that gigantic air intake, air grabber, dominating the view. You pull out onto the main avenue. Traffic is calm. You think, all right, let's see what this thing can do. You step on the gas. Not all the way down, just about 30%. Nothing prepared you for what happens next. There is no delay, no time to breathe. The car simply ignores the laws of physics. The front of the Demon lifts slightly, the rear squats violently, and your body is crushed against the seat back with so much force that the air leaves your lungs. Your hands grip the steering wheel with total strength as the rear drag tires fight for traction, letting out a brief scream on the asphalt. You release the pedal immediately, startled. Your heart feels like it's going to jump out of your mouth. Your hands are shaking. You let out a nervous laugh, half unable to believe the kick you just took. This thing isn't a car, you think. It's a weapon. Once the initial scare passes, you decide to hit the highway. The asphalt there is wide, smooth, and feels infinite. You begin to tune in with the machine. The Demon stabilizes at cruising speed, and a strange calm settles in. The rumble of the V8 turns into a deep hum in the background, and you begin to notice the details. The dashboard screen shows performance graphics, G-forces, intake temperature. Everything looks like it came out of a fighter jet. And then comes the mental transformation. You look in the rearview mirror and see a common sedan glued to your tail. Normally, you would ignore it. But now you know what you have under your right foot. A feeling of absolute power takes over you. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. The mere presence of that monster on the track already dictates the rules of the game. You decide to give the definitive command. Track mode activated. The suspension stiffens, the throttle response becomes instant. The highway opens a clear path ahead of you. You floor the accelerator all the way down. What happens in the next 3 seconds is a blur. The whine of the supercharger turns into a shrill, deafening war cry. The transmission drops the gears down with the violence of a gunshot. The acceleration is so brutal that your peripheral vision begins to blur. The digital speedometer jumps from number to number in a way your mind can barely process. It is a massive dose of pure adrenaline injected straight into your veins. You feel every gear, every explosion inside the cylinders working to launch you into the horizon. When you finally ease off the pedal, you realize you are smiling from ear to ear. It is a childish, genuine joy, the kind of ecstasy you thought you had left behind in childhood. But all this euphoria demands a price from your mind. You decide to stop at a gas station to process what happened, and because the fuel needle has already visibly dropped in just a few kilometers. As you pull up to the pump, reality shifts. Within seconds, a circle of people begins to form around the car. The attendant pulls out his phone to film. A young man approaches with wide eyes and asks, "Man, is that the real Demon? The one with over 800 horsepower?" You nod, still half numb. People look at you as if you were a celebrity or an alien that just landed. And that's when the paranoia hits. You start looking around. Is that car back there following me? If I stop at a red light, is someone going to try to cut me off? What if I scrape this gigantic front end in a ditch? Every minor imperfection in the asphalt now looks like a wheel-destroying crater. The fear of damaging that limited edition masterpiece makes your hands sweat on the wheel. You become hyper-vigilant, checking all 3 mirrors every 2 seconds, calculating the distance of every regular car that gets too close to your flawless paint. You take a deep breath, start the engine again, hear the V8 roar, and remember, you are in control of the most feared car on the streets. The paranoia fades, giving way to a deep respect for the machine. Night begins to fall when you finally reach your home garage. The engine is off, but the car still feels alive. You listen to the metallic ticks of the exhaust cooling down in the silence of the room. Tick, tick, tick. The heat exhaled by the hood creates waves in the garage air. You get out of the car, close the door with that firm thud, and take a few steps back. You stand there, completely still for a few minutes, just looking at the muscular lines, at the aggressive stance of the wide rear end. The world outside remains exactly the same. The bills will still arrive. Tomorrow's routine will be the same as always. Nothing changed in the structure of the universe. But inside your head, everything is different. You have just crossed a mystical line of automotive history. You experienced the pinnacle of American mechanical brute force, something that very few people on the planet will ever have the chance to feel. You look at the red key in your hand, give one last smile before turning off the garage light and think, yeah, my life is never going to be quiet again.